Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
I would argue the actor who really got inside Lincoln's head was John Wilkes Booth. Really, 150 years and it's still too soon, huh?
So always look on the bright side of death.
September 11th, more lives were lost than on any other single day in America's history. We will not let our decisions be made out of fear. We choose to live our lives in freedom.
I'm just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told.
I was working at Goldman Sachs.
I was a crime reporter at the time and also a volunteer EMT.
We were evacuated immediately, not knowing what was happening.
I was there through the duration of evacuation, and
when it fell, I was like 2 blocks away.
We would set up a triage center, and I stood there, and he kept bringing me people.
That was probably the worst experience in terms of, oh, this is it. I'm gonna die.
It was pretty unbelievable.
It's a prayer for our fallen brothers and sisters. There's a blood red circle on the cold dark ground, and the rain is falling down.
It was a really weird and difficult time, and I thought, just how difficult is it going to be for comedy to revive after this?
The next time I was scheduled to perform after 9/11 was 9/14.
It was at a hostel full of Europeans who couldn't leave. I mean, everything was shut down, and they were just stranded there.
A couple nights later, we were at the Cellar, and we were all going to go on, and we were discussing, like, well, is anyone going to say anything? Because we didn't know what to do. This has not happened on any of our watches before.
Everyone was afraid to talk about it, like in any comedic way.
You know, you go on stage after that, something like you've never been through that, anything like that, and you're like going to tell your jokes about Old Navy or something.
And I remember people saying, can we laugh again?
You know, you're going to bring it up. How do you not bring it up?
And I didn't have the courage to go up there and talk about the thing that, like, everyone's afraid of. And, like, when your skin color all of a sudden becomes loaded with other meaning.
On September 10th, I went to sleep a white American. September 11th, I woke up an Arab.
Everyone was freaked out. It was weird to have that much in common with the audience. Usually the audience is your enemy. And we were all under attack.
So as comedians in New York, we were grieving like everyone else. We just dealt with it on stage, night in and night out.
And I remember a comedian saying, you know, comedians are on lockdown right now.
There was a moment where it just really seemed like, well, our whole worldview of how we process information like no longer applies.
And it's the comic's job to, A, service their audience, but also tell the truth.
It really didn't feel to anyone that irony made sense. You know, your irony is always kind of anti-establishment, and it's difficult to feel anti-establishment when the establishment is lying and smoking ruins at your feet.
I remember the first joke that came out of it was terrorists convinced thousands of people to kill themselves in the name of God. I can't convince two of my friends to help me move.
First joke I told about being Arab after 9/11 was based on a real experience. It was about going to a store, and the cashier goes, "What kind of name is this?" I'm like, "Well, it's actually an Arab name." He's like, "Yeah, what does it mean?" I'm like, "Peaceful, friendly Arab who loves America and doesn't want any problems."
Of course, the first thing that everyone jumps on is 72 virgins.
The Islamic extremists believe that if you kill in the name of Allah, you get 72 virgins.
Imagine that kind of faith, to think that that would happen, when I haven't met one on earth.
And it's an ancient religion. Maybe it was misinterpreted. Maybe it's not 72 virgins. Maybe it's a 7'2" Persian. That makes just as much sense.
Geraldo's was perfect.
Greg had this ability of saying something so profound that you're like, oh, and made everything okay.
It felt kind of like they were desperate to laugh, and You were sort of desperate to tell jokes, and everyone was sort of desperate for this whole thing to work.
Every one of them came up and like gave us a hug after the show.
Because everything stopped, and it was just news 24 hours because we didn't know what to do with it. So when people were coming back on the air, I remember Letterman coming back, being very somber, and I remember Jon Stewart.
What are you going to do when you get back? What are you going to say? I mean, what a terrible thing to have to do, and I don't see it as a burden at all. I see it as a privilege, and I see it as a privilege, and everyone here does.
And that's when I realized that, yeah, my job is to at least articulate what I'm feeling and hope that that connects to somebody else, because that's healing when you're not alone. That's the healing part of my job.
I remember what it was like for me, thinking about killing myself, but comedy was the one thing that was able to save me from that.
And here comes Gilbert.
A couple weeks after it.
He's late here tonight because he had to change planes at the Empire State Building.
I'm like,
There was a lot of, oohs and ahs, and
the crowd just turned on him.
And you feel like, whoa, okay, too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Can we be funny? Why start now?
I think comedy in general is a response to pain.
The whole idea of taking something tragic and spinning it up into something good. If American Airlines were smart, their slogan would be American Airlines, first through the towers.
All comics deal with shit, is to turn it around and try to laugh at it because you win, because you made fun of it.
If 4 dudes from the Middle East go down to Florida to learn how to fly, and don't nobody want to learn how to land or take off, something is f***ed up.
what other emotion do you want? You don't want to be in fear. You don't want to be sad. You don't want to be angry. Laughter is the only thing that actually gets you through something.
Comedy gives you strength.
Which leads us all to the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. Kyle.
If you went through all the episodes of South Park, if you went through all the episodes of all of the comedy, I'm sure there would be countless 9/11 jokes, which is an amazing thought when you juxtapose it with the way I felt when I was sitting at that desk, trying to, crying while I was trying to write about God being angry at humanity for killing in his name.
I lost my dad on 9/11, and I always regretted growing up without a dad. Until I met your dad, Justin. Now I'm glad mine's dead.